All right, thanks for joining us. So the high school hoop season is in full swing over here in the Valley, and Vail Christian boys basketball, they got a new head coach at the helm, but there's something else the boys are talking about in practice. Vail Christian boys basketball is eyeing a new season that brings a lot of change. However, senior point guard Will Newman says the shift is working in the Saints' favor.
We lost our coach who's been here for 23 years. Majority of our seniors who scored all of our points. So I think people are going to underestimate us a lot and puts a fire under our belly.
Newman's father, Andrew, is now at the helm of the Saints program after 2 years with the team as an assistant coach. But all the talk around the team revolves around the new freshman.
During our tryouts, we actually ranked everyone like, say we ran a suicide and you got 9 seconds, or like 25 seconds. That's the first place time. You get 1 point, and the goal is to get the least amount of points throughout the whole tryouts. And out of the top 5 people, we had 3 freshmen. So we're really excited because we have a lot of really young players that are coming in really strong, and we're excited for it.
For Newman and the Saints, there's a lot to look forward to this season, but the rivalry game with Vail Mountain School is on the minds of everyone.
All of those guys I grew up from 6th grade to now I've been playing against them, so just so excited to play against them, last year coming out.
Vail Christian boys basketball plays their first game of the season against Lake County December 1st. After chatting with Will Newman, you already know we had to turn around and talk to his dad, who is now the leader of the Saints boys basketball program. Here's our conversation with head coach Andrew Newman. So we're with the new head coach of Vail Christian basketball, Andrew Newman. And Coach, you got a new season in front of you. What's kind of the expectation there?
Well, it's really hard to say right now. We're a very green, very young team, but we're super excited. A lot of great kids, a lot of work ethic going on, a lot of effort going in, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, and I was telling you this earlier when we were chatting just a minute ago, but you guys may be a newer team, but it seems like the chemistry is already there. Do you feel like you guys already kind of have that camaraderie on the team?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of the seniors in particular are doing a great job leading us, so they're building that chemistry from the top down. And then the younger guys in each of those classes, there's a couple kids that are really leading their classes. So I'm really happy to see this early in the season, this kind of chemistry.
Okay, in what ways will those seniors come together? You mentioned you have 3, Jack Pryor, Will Newman. How do you think those guys are going to kind of come together and lead this team this season?
Well, they're going to have to really put in a lot of effort on the court, probably getting a lot of minutes out there. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, but it's more their leadership off the court that matters. They're doing a great job really leading these guys and building that chemistry, especially encouraging the younger guys. When you're new to high school basketball or it's your first time on varsity, there's a lot you got to learn. There's a huge learning curve, and those guys are doing a great job encouraging the younger players.
And you may be new to the head coaching role, taking over the helm of this Vail Christian program, but you're not new to the team by any standard. You've been here 2 years, got the torch passed over you from Coach Coons. What was that moment like to be kind of handed the role of this program that's been successful in his 23 years here, to be that guy that he wanted to take over the helm?
Yeah, that was a huge honor. Really grateful for everything that he's done for this school and for this program. And like you said, 23 years, he's built a winning culture, a winning program, a great chemistry. We're going to be keeping a lot of the things that he did and just try to build on the great foundation he's already created.
Okay, and you mentioned, not a lot's going to change. That winning culture is hopefully going to stick around too with you at the helm. But what things may change under your leadership?
We're going to keep trying to maintain a pretty high tempo. This valley is a valley that has a lot of great athletes. We've got a lot of great athletes on this team, so can work really hard to keep pushing the tempo and really working to have a high character team that in everything we do, we're trying to reflect the values of this school.
Okay, and you mentioned you got a scrimmage with Battle Mountain coming up. Obviously, that's an exhibition game against, another Valley team, so you probably want to do pretty well in that matchup. But what kind of makes that a good game from y'all, how you show up against Battle Mountain?
Well, it's going to be interesting because we're only going to have about 6 practices with this green group of guys before we hit that scrimmage. So we're still learning each other's names, let alone all the offenses, defenses. So a lot of it's just going to be going out there and playing good basketball. It is fun, though, to be playing inter-valley teams. A lot of these guys play together in the off-season, so they all know each other. And so what's really fun is those friendships, knowing the coaches, knowing the guys, the friendships off the court, and then you get on the court, all of a sudden, game's on. It's competition. And even though in a scrimmage, you're not supposed to keep score, I can promise you, every one of our guys, they're going to know the score in their own heads. So we'll have a good time.
And speaking about playing, inter-valley teams, you guys play Vail Mountain School twice a year. That's the big rivalry in this valley for y'all. What's it going to be like, you think, just getting on the court as the head coach of this team and playing them this year for your first time at the helm?
Yeah, this year we're going to be playing them at their gym. Their gym is always packed. It's a tight gym. It'll be a full house, I'm sure. And like you said, it's It's an in-valley competition, so this should be a really good time. This is going to be a tough game. They always play a tough game. They're a very well-coached team. They're very strategic in the way they play the game, so it's going to be a really tough game for sure.
How have you kind of grown to appreciate this rivalry between Vail Christian and Vail Mountain School in your 2 years prior to taking over this team?
Well, it's always one of the games we have circled on our calendar, and I'm sure they do as well. It's just a good time. I mean, off the court, you want to be able to say you won that game this year, so they'll have a great program. They always have a great program. Hopefully we'll be strong as well, and it should be a really tight game.
Okay, and you mentioned Plateau Valley this season as being a big contender. Obviously, you may have a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth after last season, but what are you looking to get out of that matchup this year with them?
Well, we're going to learn a lot where we stand. They're third game of the season, so we have the home opener, and then we've got them on the 5th of December. And as you mentioned, they beat us twice in a row last year, 2 out of 3 games in a row. So that'll be a really tough team. They've got most of their starting lineup returning from that state team that went to state last year, and it'll be a really good way for us to find out, where we stand compared to the rest of the conference, and where we stand even in terms of being a potential state contender.
Mm-hmm. And this may be the hardest question I ask you all day, but if you could just narrow it down, what do you think you're looking forward to the most in this new season?
Wow. I just honestly enjoy being on the court with these guys. I mean, it's an awesome group of guys. I've mentioned I grew up in a gym basically with my dad being a coach, and so the chance just to be in the gym with a great group of guys, obviously the competition, doing a little bit of mentoring along the way, and I hope we get a couple wins as well. That'd be great.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Anything you want to add?
No, just grateful for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, CU football took on Utah for rivalry weekend in their final game of the regular season here in 2023. We got those highlights for you right now.
Staub takes the snap, he gets hit and drops the football. It's scooped up by Van Fillinger of the Utes, and they will take over. Colorado not off to a good start. Utes with the ball. Jalen Glover takes the handoff and is off to the races. He'll make some men miss, and he carries the rock all the way down to around the 10-yard line of Colorado. A great run by Glover to set the Utes up in scoring position. Utes now 3rd and goal. Luke Batari takes the snap and is looking for the open man towards the right. No one's available, so he'll keep this one himself and punch it in for 6. This is his first start at quarterback, and he's not looking bad at all. Utes will go up on Colorado 7-0. CU will get the ball back on offense, and they're not able to get a successful drive going, so the Utes will eventually get a field goal up to drop in. Utah now kicking off to Colorado, and Jimmy Horn Jr. will take it out of the end zone for the Buffs. Horn breaks through tackles and weaves through the defense on a successful carry, but he wants more and will take the return all the way to the 40-yard line, so a good run there from Jimmy Horn Jr. CU is going to dig into their bag of tricks on this next play, which is fun to watch. They find Dylan Edwards in the end zone for 6 to get the Buffs on the board. Utah was not ready at all for that throw from Jimmy Horn Jr. A great wide receiver to wide receiver touchdown, which you don't see too often in today's game. Utah lined up to kick a field goal, and they'll knock it through the uprights, and CU will attempt to match with a 47-yarder from Alejandro Mata. Mata, who's been great all season, knocks it through. Utah now lined up 2nd and goal. Batari keeps it and gets the yardage needed to grab another 6 points for the Utes. This is their 2nd rushing score of the day, and they'll jump out to a 20-10 lead on the Buffs. CU isn't done yet, though. Travis Hunter is open over the middle. He'll make the grab and get in the end zone for another Buff 6 points. Colorado will make the PAT to make this game a 1-score affair, but will not be able to seal the deal against Utah, who beats the Buffs 23-17.
With CU and Air Force falling out of the AP Top 25 and CU not even amounting 6 wins on the season, we're going to put that season to rest for football and pick up the basketball season instead. So here's a look at your AP Top 25 poll.
CU for a while held a spot on this poll, but have since fallen out as they picked up a loss on the road in overtime to Florida State. It is early in the year, however, so this is the time when you want to get your losses out of the way before conference play begins and the grind really hits that stride. I do want to point out, though, that we have some representation from the Centennial State in the poll as Colorado State sits at the number 20 spot. So Rams looking pretty good there, and they're undefeated on the season and are firing on all cylinders, and that's what you like to see. Now looking over at CU women's basketball, and they've had a good season thus far. They're coming off a loss to now number 5 in the country, NC State, but they also picked up a good win over Boston University most recently. They now sit at number 7 in the country, tied up at that spot with LSU, who they beat earlier in the year. And that was actually the first game of the season for both schools. The Buffs women's basketball team takes on Air Force next in Colorado Springs.
So it looks like the college basketball season is off to a hot start here in the Centennial State, which is great considering how the football season just ended. Make sure to continue coming back to us for all the latest sports coverage here in the Valley and beyond. We'll catch you next time.